K2 rises to 8,611 meters above sea level. It is the second highest mountain on Earth, but height is not what made it famous. K2 is known by another name, the Savage Mountain. Over the decades, it has claimed the lives of dozens of climbers, many of them highly experienced, many of them standing on the summit only hours before they died. This is the story of K2's deadliest disasters, told in order. What happened, how it happened, and why this mountain continues to be one of the most dangerous places on Earth. In August 2025, a climber reached the summit of K2. It was a moment of success, a moment many climbers train for their entire lives. But the next day, during the descent, everything ended. The climber was struck by falling rocks high on the mountain and died before reaching safety. The summit had been achieved. The mountain had still taken a life. This is the pattern that repeats again and again on K2. The mountain does not wait for mistakes. It does not forgive exhaustion, and it does not care how close you are to success. To understand why, we need to rewind. K2 is steeper than Everest. Its climbing routes are more technical, weather systems are less predictable, and rescue at extreme altitude is often impossible. Most climbers attempt K2 via the Abruzzi Spur, a route that funnels climbers beneath massive ice formations called seracs. Above 8,000 meters in what is known as the death zone, the human body begins to shut down. Decision-making slows, strength fades, and every step becomes a calculation between progress and survival. Nowhere on K2 is this more dangerous than a place known as the bottleneck. On the 1st of August, 2008, dozens of climbers from multiple international teams moved upward toward the summit. They knew the risks. They also knew the weather window was narrow. By midday, climbers were passing through the bottleneck, a narrow ice couloir directly beneath a hanging serac the size of a building. Fixed ropes had been installed to allow climbers to move safely through this section. Then the ice above them collapsed. The serac broke free without warning, crashing down through the bottleneck. It destroyed the fixed ropes. It killed climbers instantly, and it trapped others above 8,000 meters with no safe way down. Darkness fell. Oxygen ran low. Some climbers waited, hoping for help that could not reach them. Others tried to descend without ropes, slipping on ice, vanishing into the darkness. By the time the storm cleared, at least 11 climbers were dead. Many of them had already stood on the summit. The deadliest single disaster in K2's history had unfolded in a matter of hours. But this was not the first time the mountain had turned deadly. 13 years earlier, in August 1995, climbers again reached the summit of K2. What followed was one of the most violent storms ever recorded on the mountain. Winds exceeded hurricane force. Temperatures dropped far below freezing. Climbers attempting to descend were blown off ridgelines. Others became lost in whiteout conditions only meters from camp. Some never made it back. Among the dead was Alison Hargreaves, one of the world's most accomplished climbers, attempting K2 without supplemental oxygen. She had summited successfully. The storm erased any chance of survival on the descent. At least 7 climbers died during that storm, their bodies never fully recovered. Once again, success had come first, then shock, then silence. But even this was not the mountain's darkest season. That came in 1986. The summer of 1986 became known as the deadliest climbing season in K2's history. Over the course of several weeks, 13 climbers died, not from a single accident, but from a chain of disasters. Avalanches swept through camps, climbers fell during technical sections, and late in the season, a powerful storm trapped multiple teams high on the mountain. Some climbers ran out of food, others ran out of strength. Rescue was impossible. Deaths occurred one by one, scattered across the mountain. By the end of the season, K2 had claimed more lives than any single year before or since. The mountain had made its message clear. It was not a place for error. It was not a place for hesitation, and it was not a place where experience guaranteed safety. Over time, patterns emerged. On K2, many climbers die during descent, not ascent. After the summit, when energy is depleted, when oxygen is low, when weather changes suddenly. Unlike Everest, K2 offers no easy escape routes. There are no gradual slopes, no wide ridges. Every descent retraces the same dangers. And when something goes wrong above 8,000 meters, help rarely arrives in time. As decades passed, technology improved. Forecasting became better, equipment became lighter, experience accumulated, yet deaths continued. Rockfall, avalanches, falls. K2 remained unpredictable. Even in successful seasons, climbers disappeared. Even after reaching the top, survival was never guaranteed. By the early 21st century, nearly 100 climbers had died on K2. Compared to the number of people who had reached the summit, the fatality rate remained one of the highest among all 8,000-meter peaks. Climbers continued to come anyway. They came for the challenge. They came for the reputation. They came knowing the mountain's history, and K2 continued to remind them that history was not finished. Every disaster on K2 follows the same cruel rhythm: achievement, shock. Then the slow realization of what went wrong: a rope severed, a storm underestimated, ice collapsing without warning. K2 does not kill with spectacle. It kills quietly, efficiently, and without compromise. Today, climbers still stand at the base of K2 and look upward. They see a summit that promises glory, but above them lies a record, written in ice and stone. A record of decisions, consequences, and lives that ended high above the clouds. K2 remains unconquered in the only way that matters. It still decides who comes back.